Imagine walking into a place where crystal chandeliers sparkle like stars, and every detail of the space exudes luxury. This is Lumiere, a high-end restaurant for the elite where appearance is everything. Now imagine, Steve Jobs, the genius behind Apple, steps into this lavish space, but instead of a tailored suit or polished leather shoes, he wears his iconic black turtleneck, faded jeans, and simple sneakers. The entire room seems to pause for a moment. In a world obsessed with appearances, his simplicity feels like a quiet revolution. Can greatness and humility truly coexist in a space that thrives on extravagance? What happens next is a lesson no one in that restaurant will ever forget. By the end of this story, you may find yourself rethinking how you view others and even yourself. Stay with us, because this is a story about judgment, kindness, and the transformative power of authenticity. Ashley, one of the veteran servers at Lumiere, prides herself on her ability to read customers. With crystal chandeliers shining overhead and customers dressed in expensive clothes, Ashley feels like she belongs to a world of luxury and class. But that also makes her often judge others based on appearance. When the glass doors of the restaurant opened, Ashley turned and saw a man walk in. No formal suit, no shiny leather shoes, instead a black turtleneck, faded jeans, and casual sneakers. The man was none other than Steve Jobs. But to Ashley, he was nothing more than a lost customer. Ashley approached with a half smile and a disdainful look. "Hello, sir. How can I help you? But is this really the place you're going to? This restaurant is a little special," she said, emphasizing the word special to add irony. Steve Jobs didn't react to that attitude. He looked straight at her, his face as calm as a still lake. "I'm not looking for the spotlight. I just want a good meal." Ashley paused, but soon regained her composure. She turned, leading Steve past the best tables, where the light from the chandeliers shimmered on the wine glasses and silverware. But she didn't stop there. Instead of placing him in the center, where everyone could see him, she took him to the darkest corner of the restaurant. It was a small table located near the kitchen, where the clatter of dishes and the smell of food wafted in, completely different from the quiet elegance of the other areas. She placed the menu on the table with a casual drop and said, half jokingly, "Here, I think this will be more comfortable for you. Private and suitable." Steve sat down, his expression unchanged. He looked at the simple table, then looked up, his eyes calm as if observing something interesting. "Thank you. I believe this will be a memorable experience." Ashley curled her lips, turned, and walked away, deliberately speaking loud enough for nearby diners to hear. "He probably won't stay long. Wait until he sees the prices on the menu." While small laughs rang out from a few nearby tables, Steve remained seated, opening the menu and slowly examining it. He paid no attention to the curious glances or whispers around him. But what Ashley didn't expect was that this simple man would not only change her perspective, but also leave behind a lesson that everyone at Lumiere would never forget. Don't look away, because what happens next will make you reflect on how we perceive others. The Lumiere restaurant, which was filled with light and laughter, suddenly fell silent when the manager appeared. With a neat appearance and professional demeanor, he quickly realized that the man sitting in the corner was none other than Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, a symbol of innovation and creativity. The manager approached the table with hasty steps, but a respectful attitude. "Mr. Jobs, I really did not recognize you at first. On behalf of the restaurant, I would like to extend my deepest apologies. If there is anything that is not to your liking, please say so." Steve Jobs, still keeping a gentle smile, slowly looked up at the manager. "It's okay, but I think there is a lesson here that we need to learn, not just for me, but for everyone." He looked around the room, his eyes stopping at Ashley, who was still standing far away, her eyes worried and her face pale. In a deep voice, Steve began to share. "The world has a tendency to judge people by their appearance, by what they wear, what they own. But innovation, like kindness, is never about appearances. It's about seeing potential where others don't, and we should treat people the same way." The room froze, Steve's words a lesson no one could avoid. he continued, his tone both firm and sympathetic. "I'm not here for attention or special treatment. We all deserve respect, not for what we wear, but for who we are. Always remember, one small act of kindness can change someone's day, and sometimes their life." The manager bowed his head and agreed. "You're right, and we will learn from this. I promise that this restaurant will never let this happen again." Steve smiled, but his smile was more encouraging than reproachful. He turned to Ashley, his eyes gentle but serious. "You know, each of us has the opportunity to change. Don't let first impressions obscure the true value of a person. The way you treat others is how you shape yourself. I believe you will do better after today." Ashley, her eyes red, nodded and choked up. "I'm really sorry, Mr. Jobs. I was wrong and I will change." Steve Jobs walked out of the Lumiere restaurant, the lights from the street lamps reflecting on the glamorous Beverly Hills street. He paused for a moment, looking back at the restaurant door that had just closed behind him. A light breeze blew by, carrying with it the feeling that the atmosphere around had also changed, less flashy but more profound. In the quiet space of the night, what had just happened was not only a story about how to treat people, but also a great lesson about humanity. Steve did not need to say much, but each of his words left a strong impression on the hearts of everyone present. He walked slowly, his eyes full of contemplation but also shining with serenity. When passing by a couple who had just witnessed everything, the woman whispered to her husband, "What do you think he wanted to teach us?" The man smiled, his eyes filled with admiration, that a person's value is not in their appearance, but in how they make the world a better place. On the street full of lights, Steve said to himself, every small act, every kind choice can create waves of change that we don't expect. In a world where appearances seem to matter more than anything, choose what really matters. Start with kindness. Let every action, no matter how small, reflect your true values. And if this story touches you, leave your thoughts in the comments, share this story with people who need to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next inspirational stories. Have a nice day.